gut defense. Now listen, a guy, you can't jump away from the guy. Okay, so one thing that we do is just called a tuck and spin. So the guy would come, we'd go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, Scotty. Okay, keep spinning. Probably towards the camera would help. Now Scotty isn't really doing it very good because his shoulders aren't low. You want your shoulder on the ground, your palm on the ground, your inside thigh on the ground, and your calf on the ground. Okay, so start right there, Scotty, and do it again. Up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck. Okay, there's no space in there. If you feel like the guy's grabbing your arm and stuff, you'd go into the pray position. Okay, and if he reaches his hand in there, you just grab his hand. Okay, and then you'd peel. And if you pull anything, you go with it. Okay, if you go with anything, you go with it and peel it. So if he comes over the top, you just grab it, peel it, and take his whole body. Moving on. Or if a guy would start to get the lock, you'd go with your chest, get really heavy and walk forward, roll his lock, try to break it. If that wasn't working, you'd pick your hand back by his elbow, push off your toe and just shove his lock down and move forward. Alright, get somebody on top now. So it'd be like this, the guy can't have his knee on the inside and some other things, so we just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scotty would peel, working to the inside. Okay, now, Wyatt, come here and hold the camera. Alright. Alright, we'd be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'd be in here and I'd be fighting right in here. Then I go to the pray position, and I'm right here. If Scotty would come over the top, okay, and right in here, I'm not even worried, okay, but if I can find a hand like this, I would peel it and I'd pull it and then I go towards that hand and I come back to here. A lot of times the guy will grab your wrist right here. I can just grab and hold it, okay, or I can just roll it and move that way. I keep my hands in here, so anytime he starts bringing his hands in, okay, I can grab here or here, and I pull his hand. I keep my hands out front, okay? Now if he gets a lock right in here and it starts to lock, then I'd be going forward and rolling his lock with my hands, okay? If his lock is a little bit lower, as soon as he gets it locked, a lot of times they do what Scotty's doing, they kind of jump from side to side to get their lock. You just take your hand and shove the lock down. You want it below your waist or in your soft spot. So you'd shove it down. Okay? Then, a real quick little drill. You gotta lay down. You're gonna switch your heels from side to side. Alright, so the guy would be on the bottom. So a good little drill is he's gutting to the right, so you look right and you peek. Scotty's hips are a little high there. Turn so you're more towards the camera. Okay? So you just peek and you'd be peeking. And he'd have his head up a little bit higher, and he'd be really heavy from his chest all the way down to his hips. And then when the guy jumps sides, all you do is turn your ankles and go the other way. And then Scotty's pushing his hip down on the guy's lock, he'd switch again. Switch again. When you switch the side and you stay really heavy. Okay? So we'll try that progression again. Okay, so the guy on his top, it's tuck, spin off the whistle, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. He spins, he gets nervous. The guy's going to reach up on top. Come this way a little bit, guys. Peel it and move, peel it and move. The ref will say, open up, bottom man. You're staying heavy. If he gets your wrist, you roll him. Okay, if he gets a lock, you put your weight on his lock and crawl forward, heavy with the chest. Big, don't turn your body sideways. Okay, if he busts a lock, he busts it. Okay, now let him get a good lock. He starts to get a lock. Scotty would hook his thumb and drive the lock down. Extend. You guys are probably going to have to move back. And you extend the lock. The key here is, what we haven't learned in Wisconsin very well, is we don't move on the bottom. You got to keep moving. So he's got the lock. Scotty can shove the lock down if he wants. Extend his arms straight. He might be in trouble. Gets another good lock, Wyatt. Okay, now let's pause for a second. Get a low lock, please. Okay, if he's gutting right, okay, he's driving his knee down. Scotty can lift his head up a little bit, so it pushes his, he wants his belly button to be down, but his chest to be up a little bit. Okay? And his right foot's going to be way out, and his left foot, hip's going to be down a little bit. Now Wyatt switches sides. Scotty switches his ankles, hands out front, big and heavy. He switches to the right. He switches to the left. Okay, and Scotty went a little higher chest and a heavier belly. Okay, move back one more time. All right, he's got the lock. Now, if Wyatt's really driving hard, what Scotty's got to do is just walk his hands and go with the gut and fight, and turn his hips down. Well, he's got to get his hip down. Just go like he's... Wyatt, don't switch. Okay, stay on one side. And just try to keep going the way you're going. Scotty gets a big chest up, walks with his hands, keep fighting. Wyatt, you're still driving forward. Okay, go back to the center. What you're doing is when he's trying to gut, you actually move a little bit and walk on your wrists and your toes and make him keep moving. And you walk and you walk and you walk and you walk. All right. Go back to the middle. And if you switch sides, you guys would have to switch his hips. Back up a little bit. So now there's one other one we call just kind of floating it. Wyatt's going to gut to the left. What Scotty does is reach across with his right hand after he's getting gutted. He fights it as hard as he can with his left. He fights. Everything stays the same. He's fighting. He reaches his left hand underneath, grabs the elbow. Wyatt tries to gut anyways. Scotty jumps his hips up. Wyatt's trying to gut, and he floats over, and he gets a float over. One more time. But the key, guys, a lot of kids look for this as their main move. I like to think of it as you're fighting like crazy, and it's your last resort. So Wyatt starts to gut. Scotty's fighting, realizes he's going to get gutted. He reaches his hand over, tries to get his hips high and his head low, steps over, and floats the gut. Okay. Turn around and face that way, and just do that where you're switching your heels from side to side. Wyatt's got a gut, starts straight behind. He's gutting left. Scotty's going to get his foot way out. He's gutting. Can just go slow, Wyatt. Wyatt, go slow. Okay. Gut right. So Scotty's going to fight his hip. His right foot's going to be up, walk up underneath as high as he can. His left heel is going to turn. He's fighting. His chest should be coming up and his hip should be heavy. When Wyatt switches side, his feet will switch. His hip will be down, his chest will be up, and he'll be trying to break the lock. Can you get your head up a little higher, Scotty? I can't see it in the camera, so you must not. So he switches side again. That left hip should be down. Okay, you should be turning that hip down. All right, good enough.